I, F32, wrote a book during COVID that ultimately got published, and is doing okay. Nothing life-changing monetarily, I won't be quitting my day job, but it's something I'm proud of that I never thought I'd accomplish. I published the book under a pen name. My fiancé, his mom, and my best friend have all read the book with my permission, but no one else knows it's my work. My family, parents and older brother, know that I published a book, but I have not shared the title or my pen name with them. They've pushed for the information, but I told them I want to keep it a secret in case I want to write more books under that name. I told them I want to be able to write without thinking, what will mom think when she reads XYZ? They never truly accepted this, and it comes up at every family event. Recently we were together for dinner, and the topic came up again. I wasn't in the best mood and we'd all had a couple drinks, and my brother had been acting like an ass because his wife wasn't there to rein him in. I admitted that the real reason why I wouldn't let them read my book was because, when I first tried keeping a diary when I was 6 or 7, my brother, then 9 or 10, would search my room for my diary, find it, and read it. He would mock me for what I'd written. If his name was mentioned, he would get a black marker and scribble it out. When I went to my parents in tears, they told me it was my fault for writing about him, and he had a right to read it. They did buy me one of those diaries with a lock for Christmas that year, but then he'd just pick the lock or I'd catch him prying the book open, and he'd never even get reprimanded. I was treated like a nuisance and a tattletale for bringing it to their attention because he was their precious firstborn prince. He would be emboldened and would continue to torment me. I stopped keeping diaries because it wasn't worth giving him ammunition. They blew up when I revealed this and told me I was being a baby and needed to get over it, and it never even was a big deal. I told them that it basically gave me a complex where I'm overly protective of my writing, and I have a hard time sharing it because I feel like I'm going to be mocked and ridiculed for it. They told me I was being so dramatic and that I always do this. Comment 1. NTA. Another author here who made the mistake of telling her family, I cannot write a book without thinking, what would so and so think? I also have to deal with their comments about too much this or that whenever I publish as well. My mom tells me I swear too much, which I actually use less swear words for my genre than the market generally follows. As a creative person, there is nothing worse than having to worry or tone down your project for someone else. It also builds resentment, and I started to hate writing after a time. I had to take a break for a while. Comment 2. You are in your 30s, and even if you believe that you hide your writing because of all that, what will change now that you've aired your grievances? Nothing. That said, NTA for keeping your pen name private. Perhaps no longer allow anyone to ask about it, etc. The more you refuse, the more they will ask, and one day someone is going to go through your papers at your home to find the answer. Just ignore all talk about your pen name from now on and enjoy being a published author. Comment 3. NTA. And I'd be less polite. I don't trust you with that information because you proved over and over in my childhood you are not to be trusted with my personal thoughts or writing. Due to that, I don't trust any of you to do the right thing. You don't respect boundaries, or privacy or consent, and your constant pushing is just proving to me I'm right to keep the information from you. You don't get trust you never actually earned. If you want to be mad at someone, be mad at yourself for your blatant favoritism and failure to parent. I, 25F, make my own lunch for work. My husband and I both meal prep, and we get stuff ready in advance to make it less bothersome but also to help us balance stuff out. We each found lunch combos we love and that work for us throughout our workday. I work with my husband's sister, Sil37F. She buys her lunch every day and only occasionally brought a packed lunch in. In the past she has expressed jealousy about my lunch and has commented that she'd be paying $20 to buy what I bring in. I pointed out to her once that she could always batch cook and meal prep and save herself money. But she was dismissive and told me it's easy for me to say because I don't have children, which is true. A couple of weeks back my Sil approached me at lunch and asked me to give it to her. She told me she didn't have the money to pay for a lunch. I told her I couldn't just give her my lunch but offered to share a little. She then decided to tell me about her and her husband's money worries and how stressful it has been for them. She then told me I should help her and make her a packed lunch for work since we're in the same office. I was really shocked. She was basically telling me I had to feed her, and for free, every day at work. I told her I wasn't going to do that and I was sorry they were struggling. My husband was equally as shocked when I got home and told him. He told me to ignore her and she can figure it out. But she brought it up repeatedly that week, and then last week she brought nothing in, including no money, so she had no food for lunch and I refused to share with her again or make lunch for her. This led to her complaining outside of work about how much of a bitch I am. My husband called her entitled and told her to go make her own damn lunch instead of demanding things from me. She told me I was acting like a food snob hoarding my precious lunches, when it would be so generous and good-natured of me to feed her too. Comment 1. What the what? She wanted you to just give her your own lunch and go hungry yourself? That is such bizarre behavior, it's hard to believe. Seems like her strategy was, first demand something so floridly unreasonable, that when you climb down to okay then you should make and bring in lunch for me, every day, at your own expense. When you make your own you'll be overjoyed at the comparative reasonableness of this, unreasonable, demand. She sounds ridiculous, but it would be very generous and, checks notes, good-natured of you to post your packed lunch ideas right here. OP comment. Our biggest go-to is batch making high-protein burritos. We're a chicken-loving couple, so we normally do that, but you can go with other options. Pack it full of yummy goodness and you can make them nice and chunky if you like, which we like very much. We also batch make different kinds of ramen to swap out the burritos with. Then my husband likes to bring some kind of chips and pastry with him. I typically go with fruit and breadsticks or fruit and chocolate. Comment 2. NTA. I'm so baffled by the way these entitled people operate. I don't know how your relationship is with your sil in general, but I bet if she had had a calm chat with you in an appropriate moment, read, not at work FFS, and said she was struggling so much and whether it would be possible for you to prepare more of the same thing you were making anyways if she paid for her share of the groceries because she just didn't have the time, you might have said yes once or twice a week. Sure you can. Focus being might. You still would not have to have helped at all, but you might have chosen to. This way there is no way on earth I would consider it at all. What's wrong with her? Glad to see your husband is on your side though. My F31 husband just turned 32. I planned a spa treatment for him and a fun activity with our group of friends. I booked his calendar but didn't mention what it was. When he say the invite, he said I don't want surprises, what are we doing? I said I'm taking to a spa, then we have an activity with our group. I didn't mention what the activity would be because it's very original and we never did something like that. It was a trivia game activity in a real-like game show setting. I also personalized name tags for everyone with fun nicknames. I also paid extra to have personalized questions about him as part of the game. I didn't want to spoil it and wanted to have a reveal on the day of. He didn't insist on knowing the activity. On the day of, like 3 hours before, he asked again and mentioned I don't want surprises. I told him there is no surprise in the sense of you know who is coming and you know that it will be a group activity. He said he doesn't want a surprise and he wants to know. It was not out impatience or curiosity. It was out of I don't want to be surprised and it doesn't matter to me, I will still enjoy it just the same, but in pressing and annoyed manner. I ended up crying because I've put a lot of effort into this and he just decided to insist a few hours before, not the first time I mentioned the activity. I told him everything and we had a fight about it. He says it seems like I'm making it about me. Edit to add, we all love game nights with our friends. We love trivia, we enjoy it's not an activity I came up with just for myself. In fact, it's my friend who suggested this place and we all came up with the nicknames for the tags together. We were all very excited to show him that we found a real-life spot to play games we play in our living room usually. So I have no need from recognition from my friends as they were all involved. I also did not go out of my way to create questions about him. It was an option they offer for birthdays and bachelorettes etc. It was silly questions such as what age did he turn today? It was just for fun and nothing embarrassing or difficult. He is not anti-surprises. He was surprised before many times for his birthday, not just by me, and enjoyed it. He just said this year I don't want a surprise. Comment 1. I don't know what your husband's situation is, there's plenty of reasons people don't like surprises. I have anxiety. I both love and hate surprises. Luckily my husband knows me well enough not to plan any surprise without explicit acknowledgement from me that is something I want. Your husband was right. You made his birthday about your need to surprise him instead of his need to know what he was getting into. Telling him what you planned would in no way have diminished your efforts, but it would have helped to put his mind at ease. Instead, you placed your need to surprise him first, which made him uncomfortable and grouchy, and then you blamed him for ruining things when it was your own stubbornness and fragile ego that caused a fight that never needed to happen. You need to learn to listen to others and put them above yourself when it comes to their own birthday, and if someone says they don't want surprises, just tell them what's going on. YTA. Comment 2. YTA. Usually when people say they don't like surprises, they normally mean it. It is a cause of stress for many people, including myself. I understand the effort and energy that you put into this gesture, but it is his birthday and it shouldn't be uncomfortable for him. Comment 3. Yeah. YTA. A surprise is hit or miss for people who like them. Never mind that he told you numerous times he didn't want any surprises. Honestly, I would cry tears of joy if someone organized a birthday for me like this. My best friend would be P. It's a good thought, but it's not the thought that counts here. My 16M brother Danny, 17M, currently is in at-home hospice care. He has metastasized bone cancer and he's conscious but in bad shape and understandably pretty upset with the way shit has gone down. The doctors are saying 3 to 5 weeks. Our parents chose not to tell him and he blew up at them and there was a fuck ton of screaming and crying. He's living in the living room since the stairs are a no-go, and life as we know it is finally approaching its bitter end. We've reached the part where family is starting to come and say goodbye, and my aunt is due to come with her family next week. Danny wants there to be no kids because they're stressful. He doesn't have the patience he used to have and he gets really angry, and it's really not an environment where kids should be playing. It's not just small children, it's me too at times, but Dan apologizes and we go back to being brothers. Anyway, my aunt has 3 boys under the age of 10 and she plans on bringing them all. We're not close with these kids, we don't like them, and our mom told the both of us that we have to make an effort for her sister. Our 7-year-old niece who we are close to was here last week and she fucked up by standing on his 4-line and he exploded at her and screamed, "You're fucking up everything, you stupid bitch," because his brain isn't working like how it used to. I basically said fuck it and called my aunt, explained that Danny can't handle her kids and asked that she not bring them. She blew up at me and told me that I didn't have the right to tell her who can and cannot set foot in her sister's house, and she's not coming at all now. This has obviously caused a huge amount of stress in the family and my mom had a crying breakdown this morning at me, called me an asshole and a bastard, and threw a salt shaker at me, but she's living in her own world and not doing shit, so I told her that back. Danny's out of it, my mom says I'm tar, and my dad is constantly working since he can't face the music. Comment 1. NTA. This time should be about making your brother comfortable as possible. Yes, the family wants to visit and say goodbye, but his well-being and mental state are what matters most. As a mother, I cannot comprehend putting someone else's wishes and wants in front of my dying child's wishes and needs. This is an upsetting time for everyone, and bringing impressionable children around when they most likely will not understand the enormity of the situation and behave accordingly is crazy. Yes, your mother needs support from her sister, but your aunt should as an adult realize the kids will cause unnecessary chaos. I deeply feel for you and your family and wish you all as much love and peace as possible in this devastating time. Comment 2. NTA. And anyone who says otherwise can kindly stuff it. You're putting your brother's wishes first, which is what the adults in your life should be doing. As for your well-being, The next time the hospice nurse or social worker visits, ask what family supports they have for after he is gone. Speaking as a mother whose daughter died last year, her hospice group offered family support the whole following year. Based on how you described your parents handling your brother, I imagine you will have to seek out your own support after he passes. Best of luck. Keep honoring his wishes the best you can. Remember to give yourself a lot of grace as you navigate your grief. All feelings are okay. All of them. Comment 3. NTA. Your aunt chose to be selfish and miss her last goodbyes to her nephew over what is an appropriate boundary to ask for, especially since it comes directly from your brother's mouth. His wishes come first here. It sucks big time that the adults in your life are failing you both. I hope you are able to make the most of your remaining time with your bro. Doing the right thing, even though it's hard and no one else sees it, will help you live with yourself in the future.